Yes, good morning, students. In the last videos, we have discussed about the traction methods, okay, and also we have discussed about different types of traction speed time curves. We have deduced the expressions for the speed time curves for the quadrilateral and trapezoidal type of speed time curves, and also we have discussed about what is traction, what is tractive effort, and what are the effects of this, okay, and we have deduced the expressions for all the parameters, and also we have solved problems on all the types of the curves. Okay, in this session we'll discuss about motors for electric tractions. So if you're talking about electric tractions, so the motors play a very vital role. Which type of motor which are we are using for the traction system, that is one of the important aspects here. So here in this session we'll discuss about what are the types of motors we are using for electric traction. So we have various types in a diesel electric, petrol, diesel traction, petrol engine, gas, various types are there. But for electric traction, what are the different motors are used? Okay, so that we will discuss in today's session. Okay, here a series and a compound motors are employed. Usually a series and compound motors are used for a DC traction systems. Okay, so whereas for the single phase series and three phase induction motors are used for the AC tractions. So here DC traction series and compound motors are used for the single phase series, and three phase induction motors are used for the AC traction system based on the applications. Okay, here the service conditions being extremely severe in this case. Okay, so the motors have to conform to vary the robust design. So there should be a robust design of the motors, because it should be run for all the types of roads. Okay, there is a wear and tears, every various parameters are comes into existence. So the motors which we have designed, it should be robust and it should be capable to design, it is capable to handle the various in the loads here. So the robust design should be robust and must be necessary of totally enclosed type to protect them from the water. So it is to be robust and the motors are enclosed in a enclosure, so that to protect it from the water, dust, whatever the things. Okay, so that is a motors system. Here we have a DC motors we are using. So in this case, yeah, it may be DC motors, the speed characteristics of DC motors, everything we know already. So here we are using a DC motors. The speed characteristics of DC motor, how exactly varies. Okay, and also we have a series and shunt motor for the traction services. So along with that we have series and shunt motors for the traction services. So this is the speed current characteristics of a your series motors here. So here the parallel operation of series motors. So series motors we are having. So how the parallel operation of series motors with unequal wheel diameter. So we are operating this in a parallel operation of series motors, we are operating in a parallel way with unequal wheel diameter. So in this case what happens, so suppose two similar those two similar or series motors have a speed current characteristics which is shown here. So speed current characteristics shown here. Okay, so suppose the motor A drives a wheel of 91.5, okay, centimeter. So your motor drive A has some wheel diameter and motor B has a some wheel diameter. Okay, for a given speed of the car, the speed rotation of B will be, that is the ratio of the drives wheel A divided by B here. So when the motors are in parallel, so here the parallel operation of a series motor, I'm talking about the parallel operation of series motor. This is the speed axis and it's a current axis. So it's a variation, so it's a motor B and motor A here. Okay, so in this case what happens, the rotation speed rotation will be the ratio of A divided by B. Okay, so here what happens, so I am talking about the parallel operation of series motor. So when the motors are in parallel, what happens, the current input to each will be given by the corresponding points. So when the motors are operating, so the current will be shown here. So this is the current curve. So this is the speed of motor A and motor B here. Okay, so that means, so the motors are therefore fairly equally loaded. If you are operating motors in a parallel way, so the motors are fairly equally loaded. So that is a one way of series operation, parallel operation of series motor. So another way is series operation of series motors with unequal wheel diameter. So see, parallel operation of parallel the same way as I said, we are using a series motors, DC series motors for the DC service. So what the thing is, we are operating in a different way. See here in this first case, we can operate the parallel operation. See here, we can operate the series motors with a parallel operation, the first way. And the second is, so the series of operation of a series motor with equal wheel diameter, that's another way. And the third one is, we have series operation of a shunt motor with unequal wheel diameter. So this is the equivalent circuit which will be indicating the series operation of the shunt motor with unequal wheel diameter. Okay, here what happens, the case is similar to that of the series operation of series motor, and the same equations holds good here. So here, so the operation here also series operation of shunt motor. So here this way, these are the shunt motors, so they are connected in series. The operation of this will be take place in series way. Okay, that is the another thing. Another way of operating this is compound motors in parallel. The compound motors in parallel with the unequal wheel diameters. So the compound motors also be used, so with unequal wheel diameter. Okay, so that's about the different operation, series operation, parallel operation, compounding operation of the different motors. So whatever the motors we are using, they are the DC series motor or the DC shunt motor, but the thing is, it will varies based on the operation. Okay, so which type, it's that is a series operation, parallel operation, based on the requirements they are be choosing here. Okay, next is, so the tractive effort and the horsepower. Okay, you can see here, this is the, in case of the DC series motor, since the flux is proportional to the current, so flux is proportional to the current, so we have written is flux is equal to speed is equal to V divided by phi. So V divided by I, P is equal to V divided by I. Okay, which is proportional to 1 divided by I. So we can cancel with 1 divided by I here. So when V is constant at 1 per unit, so just let us take one voltage is constant at 1 per unit. Okay, so the torque T is proportional to I, okay, square. Okay, now so the horsepower of the motor HP, it is indicated as HP, and it is given as, so Tn, which is T into N. Okay, T and N is 1 divided by root T. Okay, which is proportional to root of T, right? So the power taken from the supply, which is proportional to the square root of the torque. So horsepower is a directly proportional to the square root of the torque here. Okay, so the same equation holds good for AC motors. So the torque, same horsepower HP equation, which will be holds good for your AC series motors as well. Okay, with a DC shunt motor or a three-phase induction motor, the speed is fairly constant. If you are using, so the DC shunt motors or three-phase induction motor, then speed is fairly constant. Okay, thus the power taken from the supply is directly proportional to the torque in that case. So the power taken from this supply is directly proportional to torque. Okay, this so short, so there is a greater amount of power which is required in case of DC shunt motor or in case of the induction motor. Okay, so then in case of series motor, it is known, see that the series motors are ideally suited for the traction service. So from all these parameters, what we come to the conclusion that your DC series motors are usually suited for the traction applications. Why they are suited for the traction applications? Because it gives a high starting torque. So first point is, so DC series motor, first point, so which gives the high starting torque, that is the first point. Next, it has a high free running speed, the second point. Why we should why series motors are preferred for the traction system? So first point, it gives the high starting torque. Second point, it has a high free running speed, that is another point. So third point is the speed automatically decreases. The point number 3, it is the speed automatically decreases as your torque will be increase. As your torque increases, the speed will be decreases. That's the third point. And the fourth point is the power and therefore the current from the supply. So for the same torque, so in the fourth point, for the same amount of the torque, power and therefore the current from the supply is more than in case of the shunt motors than the series motor. Shunt motor more, it has a more power for the same torque, but it is has a less power in for the in case of series motor. So they, because of these four reasons, because of these four reasons, so we can say that series motor is ideally suited for the traction services. Okay, that's about the why series motor is used for the traction service. Okay, next is AC series motor. You know the study how exactly these AC series motors are operating, and other things you already discussed in your previous semesters. Okay, but still a single phase AC, single phase compensated series motor, okay, have been built for a traction work. Okay, traction work up to the sizes of the several hundreds of horsepower. So they have been AC series motors, so they are built for the traction works itself for the hundreds of HP. Okay, so they have a low power factor at the starting, therefore the starting torque is also low. So your AC series motors has a low power factor, so the starting torque is also low here. So the AC series motor is not well suited for the suburban services. Just one thing, we have a suburban services, mainline services, okay, and city services, but this the AC series motor is not well suited for the suburban services, so where the stops are frequent. So if the stops are, number of stops are frequent, that means so from A to B the train is moving, the number of stops are more, so in that case AC series motor is not suited. Okay, it's being extensively employed in a mainline services, okay, works on the continent, and in the it provides the good service also. So mainline services means, so there is a distance between the two stops is huge, okay, very much high. So in that cases, so the mainline services, your AC series motors are used. Okay, so it is not used in the city services or suburban services if the frequency of stops are more. So it is why it's used, widely used in the mainline services, where the your distance between the two stops is very much far. Okay, the speed and the speed current characteristics are similar to those of the series motor. So we have already discussed the DC series motor. The speed characteristics of this is also similar to that of your DC series motor. So if the DC series motor is worked on AC, see, just imagine if the DC series motor, it is worked on AC, so then it would not operate in the satisfactory manner. So that is why, so though the torque of the armature would be unidirectional, it would be at the double at the frequency. So you should not use the DC, you should not operate the DC series motors with the AC power supply. Okay, so that's about the AC series motors, and the characteristics is already similar to that of your this one, as you already studied. Okay, then next is this is about the AC series motors. Okay, next is three-phase induction motor. So three-phase induction motor is also used for the traction drives here. So three-phase induction motor is also used as a traction drives. So it is the robust and simplest in its construction. So it's very much robust and it is very simplest in its construction wise. So if you're talking about the constructional features of this three-phase induction motors, it's robust in nature, and it is very simplest in its design construction. Okay, so the difficulties in starting and the speed control do not make it suitable for the traction. There is somewhat difficulty, speed control is difficult, and also and the starting, so starting of three-phase induction motor, which so because of these difficulties in starting as well as speed controlling of the speed, so it is not suitable for the traction works. So because of those reasons, so these three-phase induction motors are not suited for the traction works here. Okay, so the speed torque curve is a flat in this case, the speed and torque. So speed torque characteristics, if you are plotting, so it is flat through for the three-phase induction motor. The speed torque curve is a flat in nature. Okay, it has been used in the various other systems. Okay, Italian state railways, three-phase induction motors are used in the Italian state railways, but not in the India. Okay, it was likely to find the further applications elsewhere through recent years, okay, but with the power electronic methods of speed control, the research is being undertaken to apply this drive traction. There is a power electronic drive, so the controlling the speed of this induction motor using the power electronic drive is under the what we can say under development. So if it is once the development is completed, so if it is possible to control the speed of an induction motor using the power electronic drives, so this also has a very good results in case of the traction services. So as of now, so three-phase induction motors, because of its difficulty in starting and the speed controlling, so they are very less used in the traction systems. Okay, so that's about the three-phase induction motor. Okay, so as I said, series motor, we are using a series motors, okay, the DC series motors, single phase AC motors, and three-phase induction motors. So you know DC series motors speed time characteristics is already your previous semester we have studied. Similarly, your AC also, induction motors also we have studied. Okay, the same type of motors they are used in the used in the traction purpose here. So next is the control of motor, how the motors are controlled. So so we are using AC series motor, DC series motors, shunt motors, everything. So what exactly how to control the speed of these motors, okay, that we will discuss here. Here the starting current taken by the DC motor during its starting period is limited. So you can just see the current taken by these DC motors during the starting. So this is how today here we discussed till now what are the different types of motors used, then how to control those motors, how to control the speed of those motors we will discuss now. Okay, here the starting current taken by DC series motor during the starting period is limited. Okay, the value is approximately equal to the normal rated current. Okay, so by the resistance of the by the resistance of this starter. Okay, so consider whatever single phase induction motor, single phase motor you are using started by the resistance starter, the average value of the current which will be during the starting period is being limited. Okay, so that is why control of the motor is required. So you are using similarly AC motor, DC motor, single phase, three phase induction motors, various motors where we may be using, but the controlling of those motors will play a very vital important role. Okay, so how to control those is a one of the biggest technique in this particular case. Okay, the control will discuss about different types of control methods of this one. So we have a different tapped control method, tapped field control or control by field weakening. So the first method of controlling of this motors is so tapped field or field weakening method. So tapped field means that when the what happens, so the traction motors have run up to the speed and increase in the speed still possible to extend up to 15 to 30% by weakening the field strength here. Okay, since the speed is inversely proportional to flux, so tapped field, just see here, tapped field or field weakening. So field weakening means so we have a field supply, so by weakening the field supply, so we are controlling the speed here. So since the speed is inversely proportional to flux, okay, speed is inversely proportional to flux, so by reducing the field strength, okay, speed can be increased. So speed is inversely proportional to so flux, so by reducing the field by reducing the field strength, the speed can be increased. Okay, so as both are inversely proportional to, if you strength of the field is reduced, the speed will be increased. So for reducing the strength of the field, either we have to either a deviator is to be provided or the field is to be tapped. So either the deviator is to be to weaken that, either we have to provide the deviator, so or to provide a tapped field here. That is why it is called as a tapped field control or the control by the field weakening, tapped field control or control by the field weakening here. So the advantages of this field control is that it makes equipment very flexible. So the advantage of this type of control is tapped field control is, so it is here the advantages of this field control is it makes the equipment very flexible, and as for the instance for the city services, low speed with the frequent starting and stoppings are required. So there you can use the field weakening methods to control. So the equipments can operate with a full field, and the same vehicle has to be used for the suburban and the interurban lines. Okay, that is why this is the most common type of the control method which is used for the controlling of traction motors. Okay, next is multiple unit control. So another method is multiple unit control. So this is the block diagram representation or equivalent circuit of multiple unit control. Okay, so you have why it is called as a multiple unit, we have a multiple number of units here. So unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, so 3 units are there, so you can connect the same in the series fashion. Okay, so that is why it is called as a multiple unit control. Okay, so this multiple unit control is also used in case of the traction drive systems to control the motors here. So for the city and suburban services, the motor coaches are usually used. So for the city services and for the suburban services, so the motor